talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market, we talked in the break with Robert Johnson, our sales president, about, how well our team has done, in March after all this has happened, because we're adapting. We're doing FaceTime appointments. We're doing virtual walkthroughs of homes. We're social distancing, but doing what we can to still help our customers in need, because there are people out there that are going to need to sell their home because their portfolio took too much of a hit. They have equity in their home and they lost their job. There are people out there like that's why we have been deemed essential. That's why, on the Homeland Security website and all this stuff that's happening with all these stay-at-home orders, real estate is considered essential, because they know that there are people out there that need real estate to help them out of their own situations. So, one thing that I think is another adjustment with what's happening. So if you're a consumer out there, real estate agents, I think especially now more than ever, are going to be more cautious about screening you. They're going to want to make sure you're pre-qualified. They're going to want to make sure that you're legitimate, because now they're not just, and again, most of them are doing virtual showings or doing these things, but at the same time, there's an extra risk from them having to drive out and look at that house to show you a video of it now. So they're going to want to make sure you're real and you're legitimate. And the same thing goes for, sellers. If you're someone who wants to sell their home during this environment, we want to make sure that you're serious, and there's just going to be extra steps in place that are going to happen that I think for a long time should have been happening. Like agents making sure the buyer is pre-approved and qualified before they go out to show them homes. They're going to be more effectively pushing that now, because there's an extra safety risk. They're going to go out and look at a neighborhood or walk through a condo complex to take video for a customer to show it to them, and then they're going to pass a couple people in the hallway. So again, if you are someone who is going to continue your pursuit of buying or selling a home, please be loyal to the real estate agent that you're working with. They're not just taking financial risk now to help you. There's other risks involved. Don't shop 4 or 5 different agents and have 4 or 5 different people going out and video. Be loyal. Stick with someone, because they're taking a risk to help you that's a different risk than we've ever seen. And so, Mike, speaking about the mortgage side, I think the same thing goes. There's now more risks. There's liquidity risks for you guys. There's other things going on for you to help people, and I think that consumers have to understand that for you guys to take on someone's business and to do what you do. There's going to be some more challenging moments. People should get a lender and stick with them and let them operate and do what they do.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's important to get with somebody that that you can trust, that that knows what they're doing, that's been experienced, in the business, isn't just a fly by night that's going to be there, and really now that you can get a hold of. Unfortunately, some of the big, large national banks and some of the places out there, even if you go to their websites now, I've gone to one. I won't name the name, but for my credit card, and right on there online it says if you call us, you're going to have an extraordinarily long wait time. Well, if you're in the process of buying a house and you have a question or something happens and you can't get a hold of your loan officer or somebody at that company to answer a question, that can be damaging. And so, we're still available. Our turn times haven't changed. A lot of people have asked us that. Our realtor partners have all asked us that. Do we need to start writing a 45 or a 60-day contract or anything else? Our turn times are still the same. And so it's important to whoever you're working with is someone that you can trust, someone that knows what they're talking about, that can navigate through these waters and get out the other side. So it's not necessarily always about catching the absolute lowest rate right now, because sometimes those banks and those lenders might not even be able to fulfill it.
Yeah, no question about it. So I think now more than ever, you have to be more scrutinizing of who you're working with. And I think here's the other thing: if you have a friend who you've done business with as a real estate agent, they do a few deals here and there, and they kind of dabble in it. This is probably not the time to work with someone that's a dabbler, that has another job, that does other things, and real estate isn't really their true profession. Because there have been so many changes in the last couple of weeks that if you're not completely engaged with all the data and information that's coming out and talking to people like the video webinar you did with our office, there are going to be real estate agents that have absolutely no idea what they're doing, how to navigate through everything that's going on and get to closing, because they do 2 or 3 deals a year and they've never encountered this. We do a lot of deals, so when stuff changes, we learned very quickly what has to be done, and I can tell you that there are amateur hour real estate people out there that jumped in, that are 2 or 3 deal a year people, people, and you know, they're getting business because maybe they give a discount or they do this or they do that, and things are getting harder to get through. They're not going to have that if they're working another full-time job and doing real estate on the side. They're gonna run into some major problems that they don't know how to handle or navigate through. So now is definitely not the time to try out somebody as a real estate agent. Now is the time to hunt for the best and stick with it and work with the best, because they've already figured this stuff out. They've already figured out how to get through the real estate transaction and navigate through, you know, some challenging times.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to mention for everybody out there that's listening, if you are going through the process, or you're going to be when you go through the process of buying a home, is going to be there, is make sure you're communicating with your real estate agent and your lender, whoever it may be, if any changes happen. Because a lot of changes, as we all know, we're in uncharted territories, and a lot of changes are happening to people. Unfortunately, there were over 6 million jobless claims this week alone, you know, that came out, and so there's some drastic numbers there. And so, you know, if you do get affected, if you do get displaced, if yours, you know, a lot of people are asking us, well, you know, I didn't get laid off, but I got furloughed, or, you know, they said, hey, it's going to be this long. You know, there's a lot of unknowns right now, and so we just tell everybody, make sure you're talking to your lender. Right, talking to them about that, you come up with a game plan, because there are going to be things that are going to happen along the way. But I think you're absolutely right. It's so important to talk to a true professional. Does this full time? They live and breathe this. They're staying up on top of any changes that come out. They're willing to adapt and move forward. Is what's going to give you the best chance for success.
Yeah, and I think that the other side of the table, selling your home, same thing. You know, the amateur hour is over. You know, if you are hiring somebody to sell your home that isn't part of a large team that has the marketing dollars, the wherewithal, there are going to be real estate companies that go out of business from this. There are going to be real estate companies that are leveraged with debt and have to sell their company to someone else. There are going to be title companies that fold. You know, I mean, if you're not working with someone who has staying power in the industry, you're setting yourself up for, you know, potential failure because of all the changes that are in place. So, you know, if you're going to sell your house, you know, you have a couple different ways you can do it. You know, one thing that we have mastered over the years is being able to sell through technology. If you do not ever want to meet a person, okay, if you do not ever want someone to see your house in person, and all you want to do is electronic and speaking conversation all the way through to closing, we can help you do it without any human face-to-face interaction at all. It can be done completely through technology. It can be done with the right technology to video and 3D Matterport a home. It could also be through our iBuyer program where, you know, if you want quick cash, you know, we'll give you a cash offer for the house and buy it instantly. So, you know, the idea basically is that you have to adapt to survive, and that's what a lot of the best companies are doing right now. They're figuring out how to adapt to a new way of doing business, how to adapt to satisfy the customer's needs. We have customers every day calling us. They still want to do real estate business, but they don't want to be face to face with anyone. Even outside of social distancing, they don't want to go face to face with anybody. They want to do it all through technology, and we can do all of that. There are not a lot of companies out there that can. You know, we made sure that our lenders, our title company, and then our operation can be paperless, so that we're doing everything through technology. So some people don't want to operate like that, and if not, then we'll work through that as best we can. But you have the ability to, you know, buy or sell a home with us and not have face-to-face human interaction. And we've mastered that because we've utilized all these tools for years. We've been doing Zoom meetings with our team for well over a year because we realized how big of a geographic coverage area we have, and that making everybody come into the office for every single meeting just didn't make sense. So we wanted to have that physical interaction. There are companies out there that are evolving, that got ahead of this, that are prepared, and then there are, you know, some dinosaur companies that are going to have some problems making adjustments in their business and adapting to a new way of doing business. So, you know, one other thing, kind of, you know, to piggyback on what Robert spoke about earlier, you know, there are businesses out there that have basically gone to practically no revenue. Okay, our business, our real estate team, is not one of those. You know, we sold 70 homes in March, you know, which was, you know, great. It was better than last year's March, and April looks to be, you know, pretty solid as well. So we're seeing plenty of revenue, plenty of sales still happening. We're still buying homes. We're just having to learn and adapt into new ways. So I think at the same token, you know, Angela and I have talked about this. You know, we've done some things within our company, you know, as leaders, like waiving fees and helping people out in need. I think if you're a leader out there listening right now, have the opportunity to pay it forward for your people and your community, because we're doing more community outreach. We want to give more to charity. We want to help more people out, and obviously, our business has to keep thriving for us to do that. We want to use it as a funnel to help more people, and including all the people that work for us and all of our customers. So one thing I'm really excited about that I'm going to talk about here for the last couple minutes of this segment, we are launching a small business initiative where each week our team is going to, in droves, buy items or food or delivery from one specific business and highlight that business to the community, because small businesses are going to be the ones that are hurt the most from this. There's a lot of them that won't make it through, and we want to do what we can to our part